My name's Keefa. I'm a cinematographer, and I prefer this title of being a cinematographer rather than director of photography is because a cinematographer is responsible for the overall image of the film. Well, the role of the cinematographer is really quite stressful, and there are many complexity involved being a cinematographer. But essentially, you're helping the directors to tell a story, and it's your role as a cinematographer to come up with the visual grammar, the visual palette, and the visual images in order to bring the emotional context of the film to the audience. I try to involve myself at an early stage, so I try to get them to send me the script, and if I'm passionate about the script, then I try to get involved with the production, such as get involved with the art department, finding out who the art director is. If the story entails complex art design and this and that, so you want to work with the art director as soon as possible. You want to be able to be at the right wavelength with the art director. So whatever you contribute in terms of lighting, it's succinct with the art department, and the art department can support you in making sure what you need in terms of practical lamps and lights provided. So I try to involve myself in the art department as early as possible. I started the passion and desire to want to make film at quite a relatively young stage during my teen, and from there it's always been my passion to try to be an accomplished photographer in school and try to understand photography and everything, the technical aspects of photography. And then I went to university and studied performing arts. Whilst at university, I got involved with a group of like-minded people who wanted to make film, and I became involved in their project. I got involved in their project to be a cameraman and trying to use that opportunity to create images what I like. And then from university, I started off working in television. Originally, I couldn't get a position as a cameraman in the TV station, so there was a job role for sound man. So I took on that role as a sound recordist for a couple of years, to be a sound recordist working with news cameraman. So I started in the news industry, working as a sound recordist for 2 years, and then I had the opportunity to operate the camera. And I remember my boss at the time told me to take out the beta camera to go and shoot something. So I went out with a reporter, and at the time the viewfinder on the beta cam was black and white. So I went out on the street, and so I had to make a 3-minute story, with the reporter. So I had these great ideas of trying to make it quite arty by using a sweeping shot and finding her, and we see her feet, and then we pick up on her, and she walk into the frame, and she start talking into the camera, and then I tried to make her exit the frame in another artistic form. And so we did a series of them, and I thought, this is great, this is fantastic. So we can cut a 3-minute story together. And so, but when I got back to the editing suite, the horror on my face I recorded it in the wrong color temperature because it was black and white, and and I forgot to put it on to the 56K setting for outdoor color temperature, and I had a massive. So my boss just told me that complete rubbish. Go out and do it again. So I had that was a good learning curve. I think when you're working with directors, you need to be on the same wavelength, and you have to tell the story in conjunction with the directors. Otherwise, you're going to have difficulty on set. So all those conversation about the tone of the film, the mood of the film, and the lighting approach, the camera movement, and all the visual grammar associated to make a film needs to be very comprehensive for the director. So the ultimate control of a film is a director. So the director decides whether he's happy with the pictures or whether he's happy with the performance. So all decision rests on the director, and it's the cinematographer's contribution to make sure what you make is for the director. Ultimately, the director decides. I don't particularly specialize in a certain genre of filming, but the more different genre I make, then I tend to find that there's certain genres I do like, and I realize I like to make film much more about human relationships. So genres of maybe of social importance, and also of political importance, and those type of film, But I don't specialize in certain genres. I can shoot a horror to a comedy to a thriller to an action. So yeah, I think as a cinematographer, you have to be able to make yourself understand the world as much as possible, and through that understanding of the world, you can condense that with the story you're trying to tell, and using the image form to do it to the best of your ability. So testing kit is quite important because you want to establish whether the kit you're using, whether it's a lens, a filter, a certain light, or even makeup works for the scene you're about to shoot. So I find, as I've been doing freelancing for many years now, there's not really, how could you advise somebody who's about to enter the world of freelancing? It's this very scary world, that's all I can say. But at the same time, when you're first entering the freelance world, you have to start at the bottom. So you can't be too choosy on the project you work with. You have to be able to find work and pay the bills. But the more you do it, the more practice you do it, you start to build up relationships with certain individuals, and you keep connections with those individuals, and through those relationships, hopefully more doors are open to you, and when that happens, you'll be able to choose, better paid projects, maybe projects that you want to do, you're passionate about. Yes, as a cinematographer, I think you have to operate the camera. but on certain productions, very big American production, they tend to not have cinematographer operating the camera, because the responsibility of a cinematographer it's ginormous. It's too much responsibility. If you're operating the camera, you're not able to focus solely on the lighting and what the lighting is required, and so in that system you have to work with a camera operator, and either you inform the operator how you want it, what way, what style to shoot it, whether it's a documentary style or whether it's fixed form style. But in cases of where I'm involved, many of my projects I operate myself, because I enjoy operating. I enjoy looking at the viewfinder and observing, and operating or responding to the performance of the actors. Good question. What advice would you give a new camera operator or somebody who wants to work in the industry as an operator? The only advice I could probably give, as I'm still trying to get into the industry and trying to work in particularly the British industry or on bigger projects. So I would say keep shooting, keep practicing. The more you practice, the more you shoot. You're sharpening your creative muscles, and the sharper and the better you become much more efficient in telling a story. So if a director wants to tell a story in 5 seconds, you're able to, pick up ideas, use the camera, use whatever lenses, whatever lighting, to help him tell that story. And if the story requires a longer form way, then you just keep on shooting, keep on practicing, and keep on doing what one enjoys. Recent production, I was hired to be a cinematographer, was on the film Just Noise, and this was collaborating with an Italian director, Davide Ferrario. The story is about the Maltese uprising in 1919. The biggest challenge was really the budget of the film and the scale and ambition on the script. For us to meet it was important to find the right team members, and luckily my producers and my line producers was very helpful in understanding my need as a cinematographer. We were lucky to find good members to be in the camera team and the lighting team, and through that we felt it was a journey that we all had to embark, and it was a worthwhile journey. So the relationship between the team members got very close. So each day it was just a challenging day, and we were having issues with many things, and each day we just battle on, and complete the schedule, what needs to be completed. And luckily we didn't run over time, we didn't have to do any reshoot. In fact, we had additional material, so the director had a lot of options when it came to the edit. I think the only tips I could probably give at the stage of where I'm at is perhaps not to give up. There's going to be many times where you're going to get lots of rejections, and you're going to have to knock on lots of doors, and you might go through lots of depressions. You know, you have emotional swings, ups and downs, but the best tips maybe I can get, you need to keep focus on what you want, you know, to do, what you want to achieve in life, and if you can keep that focus and just keep on going.